It's no secret that right now PC part pricing is kind of crazy, but if you want to build a system in the current climate, what can you actually get? And it's now really as terrible as everybody is saying for those looking to assemble a new system. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be walking through the best gaming PCs you can assemble right now for a range of budgets to see what's really available in the current climate. I'll be talking about where we can potentially find pockets of value, PC components that are pretty good right now, and equally those you should avoid. Let's dive into it. The Corsair frame configurator has landed, allowing you to make Corsair's frame 4000D case truly one of a kind. From a wide range of front panels that include clear RGB designs, tempered glass designs, and a range of wood finishes, to customizable motherboard trays for rapid route 2.0 cable support, change the PSU shroud to increase front radiator support, swap out the I/O, and even switch out the side panel to add additional fans or mount Corsair's Xeneon Edge screen on the side. Make the frame 4000D your own at the first link in the description below. Now for today's video, I'm going to be using Newegg to get a good idea of live up-to-date pricing. I'll obviously link all the parts today for Newegg and Amazon down below so you can compare pricing, but the idea is this should give us a realistic set of prices that you guys can hopefully replicate or even better, beat at home. Now let's start, shall we, with our sub $1,000 gaming PC build, and begin as I always do by looking at our graphics card options. Now the way that I see it, we've got three options here. We've got the Arc B580, we've got the RTX 5060, and we've got the RX 9060 XT 16 or 8GB. Now let's have a look, shall we, at the 5060 first of all. We should comfortably get that in a $1,000 budget, but let's see what the prices are looking like right now. So we're looking for the cheapest new 5060 at around $329. That's $30 above MSRP. We're looking for the 9060 XT 8GB at around about $359. It is a slightly faster card than the 5060 8GB. And for the B580, we're looking at an average price of around about $289 for a white card, $309 for a black card. Now Newegg can be a bit weird in that, for example, with this graphics card, you actually get a free 240mm cooler, which obviously could be a really great addition to any build. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, as much as I'd love to go for the B580, and it does solve some problems, like for example, it's got 12 gigs of video memory, which is much better than the 8 you'll find on the 5060 and 8GB 9060 XT. In our benchmarks, it is just slower than the 9060 XT and the 5060. And for that reason, I find it currently kind of hard to recommend. So let's go for the 9060 XT for now. We may revisit this later. What I'm then going to do is I'm then going to start picking out items like the PC case and the power supply. The reason I'm doing these is because essentially they're a cost that we have to assume for the build. So getting them out of the way now will leave us with the money that we have left over for things like the CPU and the memory, which could be more tricky. What I'm going to do is filter by anything below $70, and then I'm going to filter it by best selling and see what options we've got. XT Pro from Fantex at 50 after the rebate's pretty good. G370A though, that's going to be a winner for me. That's coming in at $39.99 after the rebate, and is genuinely really high quality. Power supply wise, we definitely can live with a 650 watt unit. So again, what I'm going to do is search for 650 and see what we've got. This ASRock unit's interesting. That's coming in at 44. It's 80 plus bronze. It is ATX 3.1, so that could work well. It's on the more basic end of the spectrum, but this is, well, a slightly more basic build. For storage, I'm going to go for a 1TB NVMe. Of course, you may want more than this. You may think that you can get away with less, but with the current size of games and stuff like that, I think 1TB is going to be about right. Now let's have a look at what our options are. This is where instantly you can see some of this price inflation really starts to sting. A KingSpec 2280, this is a Gen 3 drive, that's coming in with the promo at 152. Let's filter by Gen 4, because that I think is going to be a good requirement for us. And then let's actually, you know what, let's just go for the lowest price. Not necessarily pick the lowest price item, but let's see where the base kind of lands. Now, Silicon Power, not a bad brand. This one here has a read and write speed of 7 and 6.5, arguably kind of overkill for this build, but it's the cheapest Gen 4 that's within that 1TB capacity. This is a component where pricing really has gone through the roof. $162 for this drive is really not great and going to swallow up quite a lot of the budget. So far, I have to say it's not looking great. Now, in terms of CPUs, my ideal situation would be to go for something like a Ryzen 7600. That means DDR5 memory, it means newer platform. That's going to cost you about $190. Compared to the 9600 and 9600X from AMD, they're going to set you back quite a bit more actually. Although this one here, you get $20 off the 9600X, so that would be about $180. Now that would be my preference, but what What we need to do is we need to look at memory. And the reason for that is simple. This chip here is a DDR5 chip. The other option for CPUs would be to go for something like a last gen or last gen 5600, 5600X that will require DDR4 memory. So let's go ahead and start comparing some prices. Now, kind of, I guess controversially for this system, I'm actually going to be sticking with 16 gigs of DDR5 or DDR4. And before you shoot me down in the comments, I made a video recently looking at the difference between the two. And honestly, in lower end, more value oriented builds like this one, it makes much less difference than you might think. I'm not advocating that 16 gigs is a new standard, far from it, but at this price point, I think it does make almost begrudgingly a bit more sense. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to filter by, let's go DDR5 first of all. We want 16 gigabytes per module. So let's go ahead and tick that box. And we want a single 16 gigabyte DIMM. I'm again going to go ahead and filter by lowest price first of all. Patriot is going to be a great brand. Use them loads. This is CL30, so it's pretty quick. And that comes in at 199 USD. Let's search for DDR4 next. Now, where does that leave us? So we've got some options at around that 100 mark. We've got some Corsair Vengeance LPX. This is CL14, it's pretty good for DDR4. That's going to come in at 120. So there's an $80 saving. We can't really ignore that. What I'm then going to do is look for a Ryzen 5 5000 series processor. 5500 is going to come in at 89, 5600, 144. What about a 5600X? Nope, that's not going to work, 225. Let's go for our Ryzen 5 5500, as with the promo code, that could be interesting. And you never know, we might have some room here to upgrade the GPU. First, we need to find ourselves a motherboard. So we're going to be looking for a B550 motherboard. Now, a motherboard is an area where you can save a little bit of money if you want. But for this build, I've got a few key requirements. It needs to have Wi-Fi built in. That's really important for me. And ideally, we need to have the latest USB-C standard as well. Now, straight away, the first option on the list comes in from GeekaWhat. And this board looks like it's got Wi-Fi 6. Good start. Does it have USB 3 Type-C? No. This is the problem we get straight away when we look at these B550 motherboards. We start to be a bit constrained on options. Okay, this could be interesting. This is a Wi-Fi board from Asus. It's an ROG Strix board. Has this got the latest USB on? Yes, it does. Now, it might seem overkill to go for an ROG Strix motherboard, but for that price point, we get all the features we want. If you don't need Wi-Fi, if you're not bothered about high-speed USB, then you can go ahead and forgo this. What I would say, though, is by doing so, you're really limiting the build. And that's not something that I particularly want to do today. Now, we're up to around 952. Presumably the promo codes take us down a smidge to 944. And here we've got a few options. We could stick with the stock cooler or throw in an aftermarket $20 unit. What I'd like to see though is whether we can try and upgrade the graphics card from the 9060 XT 8GB to, for example, a 9060 XT 16GB. I know it sounds weird that we're scrimping on normal memory to try and upgrade the GPU, but in terms of raw gaming performance, it's going to be better for us. Now, the cheapest one I can get is this ASRock Challenger, which is absolutely fine. Let's add that to the cart and see where we land. So that brings us to 1,024. You know what? I'm going to go for that. If I could make another simple upgrade or recommendation for this build, it would be to go for a very, very cheap CPU air cooler, something like this from Cooler Master or this Sama X40. Again, it's going to push us even more over the budget, but what it will do is just give you a build that's just better, quieter, thermally much more within the region that I'd want to be. And that brings us to around 1,049 USD. So if you're looking to build a $1,000 gaming PC, this is what I'd go for. A Fantex G370A, a 16GB 9060 XT, 650 watt ASRock ATX 3.1 power supply, Ryzen 5 5500 processor, Sama X40 budget CPU cooler, a Silicon Power 1TB Gen 4 NVMe drive for our storage, and an Asus ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi 2 for the motherboard, alongside 16GB of RAM from Corsair. A build that certainly has compromises, but still gets in a 16GB 9060 XT, which is about what we would have got into the build this time 7 or 8 months ago before the pricing stuff kicked off, albeit with the compromise of an older CPU and less DDR4 memory. Now, if you've got $1,500 to spend, I'd honestly wipe out the whole basket and start to build onto a much newer platform. That starts, for example, example, with AMD's newer Ryzen 5 9600X. Not only is this chip at around $180 fantastic value, it's going to provide much better performance. It's going to give you way better upgrade paths, opening up the options for Ryzen 10,000 or whatever they call it. That for me is a real winner. It's also going to open up the options for the newer B850 motherboard chipset, where you'll find all of the features we were looking so hard for earlier. All these boards are going to have Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth, high-speed USB, all that kind of stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter out by ATX boards only, so let's apply that. And I don't want to spend more than $200. I really want to spend quite a lot less than this if I can. Now, you'll get cheaper boards like this MSI Pro S board, which are really on the basic side. That already is going to be way better, the B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, and at $170 plus $40 off with this promo code, I think that's going to be a great choice. It's a bit more simple, but it looks nice. You can see that I/O is good. We've got 5 gig Ethernet, Wi-Fi 7, dual 10 gig USB-Cs and a 10 gig USB 3 Type A. That's going to be absolutely perfect. No questions, straight in the car. I'm also going to try and step up to 32 gigabytes of DDR5 memory. Now, you could, if you want to be aggressive here, stick with 16 gigs of RAM, but obviously move to DDR5. If I can avoid it, I'm going to try and avoid it, and straight away, that feels pretty cheap, doesn't it? Hang on, wait, pause. I got really excited then. That's a 16 gigabyte kit, not a 32 gigabyte kit. Oh my goodness me. Okay, cheapest 32 gig kit. King Bank is $350, Patriot Viper $370, Corsair Vengeance $380. I'm gonna go probably for, what's the kit with the best speeds and latencies? That is 6000 CL36, that's 38, 32 6400. Now, never used King Bank, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that, and if you want to save yourself some cash, then you go ahead. I'm going to go for Patriot Viper, not because there's probably anything wrong with the King Bank kit, but I want to try and make this build as replicable as possible for you at home. I'm also going to go for the same sort of strategy that I went for in the last build, which is to add in all the other parts before seeing what's left at the end. So I'm going to go for a Gen 4 drive. Again, I'm going to use the filters on Newegg's site to actually filter that down, pick the capacity at 1 terabyte, and then I'm going to sort by price low to high and see what our options are. You may want to step up to 2 terabytes. I probably will in our $2,000 build, which is next, but for now, let's stick with the budget that we have. Silicon Power, again, pretty good brand, same drive as last time by the looks of it. I'm going to add that to cart. No really qualms from me on that one. Power supply, I'm also going to go for a 750 watt unit in this build. That's going to open up options for lots of the latest graphics cards. We're looking for something that's ATX3. Fantex have got one here for, after the rebate, it's $80, and there's another $5 off promo code, so that's what, 75 USD. Fantex, very reputable brand. This is ATX 3.1 and PCI Gen 5.1, so that's going to be perfect. Next thing is a PC case. We're going to probably have a bit more money to play with than we did in the last build, but I still don't want to spend more than about 85 on the case, I would say. And again, I'm going to filter by the best selling items first and foremost. Now, Corsair 3500X, that's not a bad option. I actually don't hate that as a choice. Lian Li V100, no, okay, this is what we're going for. Lian Li V100, I've used this loads in builds on Geek PC. That's my UK pre-running company, which I'll link down below, and we love it. It's a great case. We use it in our Glacier system. Comes with 4 fans, 3 are reverse. It's got a little RGB strip. Yeah, perfect. And for the price, that is an absolute bargain. So we've got around about 500 to spend on the graphics card. So where are our options? Instantly, my mind goes RX 9070, and I'm hoping the non-XT variant is going to be at a good price. I think I may be too ambitious here. Okay, no, that's not going to work. Again, there's some little pockets here where this ASRock card, you get a free power supply. So I guess that brings the card down to like 550, but that's still going to be over budget. Are we going to have any more luck here with the RTX 5070? Oh, painful, 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 painful. I really don't want to step down to the 5060 Ti 16 gig. I don't want to do it. So what I might do is I might try and squeeze into this build, this ASRock card, take the power supply and remove the Fantex PSU from earlier. Where are we? Okay, so, you know I said that I didn't want to be over budget in this build? Yeah, I'm over budget, yeah. No cooler yet either. Ah, free gift! We have a, yes, so right, so we have a cooler included with the processor for free. This like free gift stuff is like really, like, I just don't get it. Well, I do get it, right? This cooler obviously isn't selling very well, so some sort of promotion is like, we'll just chuck it in. It's actually going to be perfect for the build. So like, as much as I'm complaining, it will work really really well. I'm not sure the white colorway is exactly the right match for this system, but then again, I guess that's why that's the one that's included for free. So this is our $1,500, but kind of slightly over $1,500 build with our B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi motherboard from MSI, ASRock Challenger RX 9070 graphics card, Ryzen 5 9600X CPU, our free Cooler Master 360 cooler, 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, a Lian V100, 1TB silicon power SSD. Now, do you want some good news in a market that's full of bad news? Because I do, and that's that if you want to take this build to that $2,000 budget, you actually gonna get yourself something really, really good. So I'm gonna go 9070 XT. Now, why am I gonna do that? 5080's out the budget, that's not in the equation. 5070 Ti is expensive and kind of apparently discontinued, so that's not gonna work either. The 9070 XT is the perfect choice. Now, this has a special discount available, which actually that's gonna give you $50 if you put your email in. So I'm gonna add that to cart and we can, I guess, kind of take $50 off the system. A lot of these cards are available for sub 700 USD, which while it's not like gonna set the world on fire, as far as pricing goes, I actually don't think that's too bad. Now, that's it. And we're only at 1637. I say only, still an expensive build. So let's go for some upgrades. Let's knock the SSD up to 2 terabytes. How much is one of those gonna be? 269. I'm happy with that. And let's also go ahead and find ourselves a nicer 360mm black CPU cooler. If you're not bothered about the color or the appearance of the cooler, then you don't need to do this. You can skip this step entirely. PC Cooler, you know what? They're a brand that I've seen at Computex a few times, been pretty impressed with. They're a good brand. It's not an ad, by the way. They've never sponsored a video here on the channel, but it's 66 US. You can't knock that. Now that puts the build up to 1831. Couple of areas of weakness. Motherboard's a little bit on the low side, but again, I'm hesitant to upgrade that because I'm not sure it's going to give us much more performance. Instead, I'm thinking, can we squeeze in a 7800 X3D? Now, for those of you that don't know, AMD's X3D lineup is basically the fastest set of gaming CPUs on the market. And this, from the last Ryzen 7000 generation, is a fantastic option. My fear is that it's going to tip us slightly over budget. We're at 2190, but remember, we've still got our 9600X in that we can get rid of. Interestingly as well, the 7800 X3D actually comes with a black 360mm cooler from Cooler Master, meaning we also can get rid of the CPU cooler that I added earlier, which is going to put us at 1943. That's going to give me a little bit more money for a slightly nicer motherboard. This is going fantastically well. And you can see, right, like, I'm not saying that the solution to the memory crisis is throw more money at the problem, but you can see how the current situation's really affected some of those lower end builds. You can evidently still build a really fantastic $2,000 gaming PC build. B850 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi is a great board from MSI, big fan of that. B850 Aorus Elite, that's solid as well. Just gonna give us a bit better connectivity. Let's go for the MSI Tomahawk board. Let's add that into the cart. Now, where does that take us? 2045. Of course, that goes down to 2015 with the promo code, and there's $50 off the graphics card if you put your email address in. So that's gonna bring us well under budget. Whoa, stop right there. It's James from the future here. I realised the build is under budget until we had a power supply, which I've forgotten. The reason I forgot is it came bundled for free in the last build. If you're looking for a recommendation, you want something like this from Corsair, their RME series, that's going to put us slightly over budget, but again, not by a great deal. Sorry about that. So let's summarise, shall we? An Asus Prime 9070 XT, a Ryzen 7 7800 X3D CPU, a free Cooler Master 360mm cooler, which will actually be perfect, Patriot Viper Venom, Lian V100, maybe a weak point of the system. I think it's a great case. I think you'll struggle to do better without spending quite a bit more money. A 2TB NVMe and a B850 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi from MSI. That is a solid build. Now, what I'm going to do is leave latest pricing and availability for all components down in the description below, including giving you some UK links as well for those of you following this video looking at UK pricing. It's very evident that we still have a long way to go, and the reason that I don't want to just make a video here on the channel saying memory prices are falling when maybe there are slight signs of improvement, because that's not the wider picture right now. There's still a lot of stuff going on. What do you guys think of these builds? Would you buy any of these? Are you waiting to build a system? Let me know where you're at in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.